Recording. Hello.
Hiya.
What's happening?
Everything all at once.
Hello.
What do you know?
I cannot see you.
Serious? Let me
Yeah.
see. Start video.
There we go. Let me turn off this stupid background thing.
Yeah, it's going through your face, so you look like a superhero.
Yeah.
Or a transformer. Are Transformers superheroes? I'm asking for myself.
That could
I
be
would
up for
think they
debate.
are.
I mean, they're super, and they do heroic things. I think they qualify.
What's happening?
I just made a box of scones to ship to my college-age stepson in Minneapolis, so I've never shipped scones, so I was doing all that.
Do you have to vacuum seal, or are you just winging it, hoping it? It's only Minneapolis, so.
Right. I did parchment paper around each scone, sandwich bag, and then lunch bag for cushion. I guess I could go back and go like this in the sandwich bag.
That wouldn't be very social distancing of you, though. I think that would
It's
be
still socially distant. It's just gross.
Yeah. Yeah. So thanks for doing this. This is pretty. We've been doing a few of these now, and surprisingly, very few kinks to work out.
Good.
It's actually.
And do you see Dan as a whitewash ghost right now?
Yeah, sitting. In front
I'm trying to make it not. I'm trying to give myself light, but not actually be all whitewash. And
your face is gone.
So far, not succeeding real well. Is that better?
No.
A little bit.
Yeah,
you can't see your eyes.
Maybe if you put your hat back on, it'll.
Is it your background thing?
No, it's just my lighting.
Did you guys hear about using those backgrounds? People can leak in or something. Is that true?
I have no idea.
I have
they
not
can
heard.
Come in and draw a penis on your screen and stuff. That actually happened.
I invite them.
I'm operating under the assumption that this is all being monitored by somebody at all times. So
we want an audience, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
No.
Did that help the ideas I sent you? Is that where you're at, or what do you?
Yeah, I mean, whatever you want to talk about. I'm really interested in, particularly in the improv area that you your milieu, if you will, of improv and how you guys operate, because I think there's a misconception about what improv is. I think a lot of people believe that it's just, riffing on stage and, coming up with a goofy premise and that's it. But to my understanding, that's a big part of it. The whole idea of yes and that, you're going to build a scene without any preconceived notions or, without any agendas. And then based on what those riffs come up with, is you then build a scene out of that. Kind of bring order out of the absurdity and the chaos. Does that seem fair?
Oh yeah, I just used an improv game with a friend, and we could even talk about that because it's a little bit ridiculous. But I helped her problem solve. Improv. That's something I do. So.
Well, that's sort of just like brainstorming. Dan and I do it all the time in our various businesses. It's just, we kind of, okay, there's a problem, and then we just sort of approach it with okay, we're going to throw anything up in the air, and even if we get way off subject, way off track, eventually it'll come back around.
Yeah. And, or it didn't cost anything.
Right. And, you have a good time doing it.
But when I speak, it's a big chunk of what I talk about. So, you lead me how far you want me to go and reel me in.
We're recording right now.
I see that.
So.
I also work in a police department.
Oh. So I think legally I have to let people know when I'm recording.
Yeah.
I don't need the state guys coming busting on my door. But,
again,
as usual, every Sunday it gets like that here.
So when you actually start, are we video and audio when you play back, or is it this? You're doing it like when I had started mine. I haven't done anything with it yet. I do both, but I only use audio.
Normally it's just audio, but I think we're going to try to throw these up on YouTube. We haven't done that yet. So
I've never thrown up on YouTube. Never.
No?
Not that I know.
You have not gotten deep enough into YouTube. Matter of fact, Gus, you shared something with me last night that was... we don't need to reshare that. Once was enough.
I have 5 sons. I can take it.
What it was, you ever see the movie Demolition Man? The old one?
No.
It was Stallone and Wesley Snipes, and it's set in the near future. And for some reason, and I think it's a prophetic movie. They don't shake hands. They do this to each other. And well, they also don't use toilet paper. They go in there and there's 3 seashells sitting in on a little rack next to the toilet in there, and that's sort of the joke is the guy that time traveled, so to speak, doesn't know how to use the seashells, and they make fun of him for that. Well, this thing I found was just it was 3 like clams, and they were the most disgusting. They look like big giant tongues coming out like a clam.
Yes,
and it
yes.
just looked so gross. And the title was we figured out how to use the 3 seashells. Yeah. So,
or the new guy comes out of the bathroom with poo on his face. He's like, I couldn't hear the ocean.
Yeah.
What is that? I don't get it.
Yeah, well, they the way he solves the problem is they get fined every time they swear in the future.
Oh,
There's a little thing, like a little ticker that ticks out a ticket,
like a swear jar.
Yeah, so he just goes up to it and does a chain of swears, and it spits out all these tickets, and he goes, "Okay, hey, I'll be right back." It's Stallone.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Of course it is.
Yeah. So. But yeah, so when you guys you're in Heart of Lacrosse.
Yes.
Are you a founding member?
No, it started back in the early 80s, and it was a group of, I think mostly gentlemen at that time, that were at UWL, and they just thought, let's do a show. My mom will make curtains. We can use the barn, and
sure.
They even had like 8mm videos that they would show. So you got this black and white 8mm video thing going on. It was the start of something, and over decades it had changed hands.
Yeah.
And I started running it in, I don't know, 2008 maybe, 2007. I always ask Brad Williams because he can remember every day of his life. So I often turn, when I looked that way, that was because Brad, what day was that when I took it over?
He's here in spirit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brad was great. To see him perform and to know him in real life, it's like 2 different people, and it's really like he really opens up and he really takes on those characters that he
yes.
was doing.
Mm-hmm. I had the pleasure, I don't think I realized it. I know I didn't realize it because I was fairly young, but I've been on stage with Brad a couple times, and yeah, he was brilliant. Every role he took on, and it wasn't until later in life that I kind of realized, wow, that was really cool that I got to be on stage with him. Yeah. Then I worked with him later, which I actually interacted with him less there. But yeah.
But you're right, and he does take on the persona. And the common question we'll get from people is, because we write sketch comedy and we also do improv, people will say, oh, he must be off script first. No. He's almost last, because his memory is hyperthymesia. He remembers every day in his life. He doesn't memorize things.
Oh.
He can recall. So you could shoot out a date, and then he will process it through his Google Map brain and spit out. And I've done that to him constantly, and I will continue to do so.
So it's not a photographic memory. It is, but it isn't. It's
he also can feel the feeling. And so therefore, once his brother connected with California, you should just interview him sometime. It's a fabulous story. He's got a documentary out that his brother Eric did, and it truly is a great, especially Dan, since you've worked with him, you'd love to see this. And I think it's over 10 years old already. I can't believe it. Where he was on Good Morning America, and Regis whacked him with a piece of paper for something he said. I'm like, oh my gosh, Regis hit you. That's so cool. But when his brother understood that California, University Irvine, is that how you say it? Mm-hmm. Was also into uncovering this lady who was only going by initials. She was sharing this. And then his brother was like, Brad, isn't that what you have? And that's how it all came out. But the female was actually saddened and quite struggling, because not only could she remember the day and what happened, but the feeling. Think of a breakup. Think of your kid got hurt, or think of any sadness. You lose someone. And that would be her for, I guess, days, weeks, who knows?
My God, that would
is
be
not
awful.
Beautiful.
No. And I wonder if, because, I guess way off topic, I guess, but, if you got blackout drunk, when that your what is it, the hypothalamus or whatever that's responsible for keeping you, engaged. Once that goes blank, I wonder if that's sort of like I don't have to remember that moment just for a couple hours.
I wonder if that group doesn't drink. That would be a really interesting thing that you just hit on, Gus, because one of them is Mary Lou Henner, and I think
Yep.
she's a health nut, doesn't she? And she also has hypothymesia. Brad, I've known him. I'd have to ask Brad, how long have I known you? Almost since 1999, because I've asked him that. It's August in 99. And so he doesn't drink. I might have seen him sip champagne one single time on New Year's, but he's not a drinker at all. So
it's got to be, because I imagine right up until the point where you can't remember anything physically, chemically, or however that works, you probably remember all the other stuff up to it. I mean, all those weird, crazy emotions that happen, and the especially if you don't do it often enough. I mean, I remember, when you first start, like, going to beer parties and stuff, and there was always drama and all this other stuff. I bet that would be a crazy ride, reliving all of that.
Yes. So maybe if you have a friend with hyperthymesia, you've got your designated driver.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Everyone
great.
I have teenage children that serve that function for me.
Well, there's nowhere to go anyway. So
yeah, exactly.
so we're safe at home.
Yeah. So when you got involved with Heart of Lacrosse, is this something that you've always done? Because I know, I mean, you do a lot of things. You're a speaker, you've written books, you do this and that, and do you even do a little bit of stand-up, don't you?
I have dabbled in stand-up. Yeah. I can't say I'm fabulous with it, because I think I'm better on a regular script to be a character. So I haven't found the character that I am on stage. Last time I did one, I felt really good about it. I really went into my OCD-ness. I hate that term, but yeah, I'm a germaphobe before it was even cool. So I touched into that, and I really felt good about that zone, kind of going more into that. But yeah, I got into Heart back in '99 when I was in a singing group in La Crescent called the Apple Annies. So every year there's a contest, and every year someone wins. And when they win, they're an Apple Annie forever or whatever. I'm a recovering AA. So I kind of gave that. I gave 7 years of volunteering, singing in parades and at shows and at nursing homes. And I had 2 kids, 2 divorces. I'm good. So not saying it was their fault. Probably was.
There's only so many times you can sing Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy. I understand.
Thank you. Wow. Nailed it. So yeah. So then a friend in Apple Annie's said to me, you should try out for this improv troupe I'm in. And I thought, that really hit me, because she's saying I can sing. She thinks I'm funny, and then I can act. And then I told her, yeah, I'll try out. And she goes, good, because we need another woman. I was like, okay, well, I got lady parts. I sit when I go. So yeah, I'll go try out. But I did. I was scared to death. I was scared I said, I'd never done improv. I was really scared. And I'm glad I tried it, because, a couple decades later, I end up owning it. Or a decade later, I end up owning it.
Did you do you ever get the itch to like head out to Chicago and try Second City or anything like that?
I would love to play with those folks. It just doesn't make sense for my life, because, and people have said, even before the COVID-19 had said, why don't you do this full time? Because I do speak and write and I do creative coaching and things like that. Now, why don't you do that full time? And I said, because we need the insurance. Yeah. and it honestly, and I'm working full time right now, even through this.
Sure.
So it's never hit so hard that I could just take off. I definitely want to travel and speak, and I was this close to hiring an agent, and I really like her, but it was a huge down payment, and then all this hit. So I was like, oof, I better save all my money right now.
Yeah. You and everybody else. This is pretty nuts.
All $1,200 of it.
Yeah. Well, supposedly, I just read something earlier this afternoon that I guess the IRS is dropping the first payments any day now. So, if you need to go on a big spending spree on Amazon or something, I guess now's the time.
Are they shipping now? I didn't think they were shipping.
I
don't know where the accent came from, but are they shipping? I don't know.
I'm Jackie Mason all of a sudden. I got what is that? Yeah. So, but yeah, so you do the sketch comedy with the Heart of Lacrosse, and I guess one thing I'm always curious about is the stigma, and I think the stigma is starting to go away of women being funny.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not a secret. That's kind of almost the stereotype. Oh, another female comic. She's gonna suck.
She's gonna
And
hate men.
yeah, and I think the problem, people, is just like with everything, in an industry that's been dominated so long by male, that the only thing we've been exposed to is that male perspective, and then all of a sudden, when you're confronted with a different perspective, uh, oh well, that must, it's different and shocking, and I feel attacked by it somehow for some reason, and I think that's why a lot of female comics got a bad rap right out the off the jump, but I don't think that's the case. If you look back at in the 80s, there was a lot of really great women comics,
Go back further. Look at
Joan
um,
Rivers in the 70s.
Phyllis Diller.
Phyllis Diller, yeah.
She was so different than anyone else.
Do you think
Just,
Fang was a real guy, or do you think he was a character, a bit she was doing?
I believe she created a character out of her husband.
Yeah.
She knew the art of exaggeration, I would assume. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, she was great with the
But my
boat.
favorite is Carol Burnett, and that's
Hmm.
who I ended up emulating really with sketch comedy. And I know a lot of their show was improv. That was my escape when I was younger
Oh
because
sure.
I had a really dark childhood, and that show was my escape. And I am still trying to connect with Carol Burnett to try and get an 8-minute phone call. I figure if I'm very specific about that,
Yeah.
I've given up that we're going to hang out and have lunch. I've given that up. I let you off the hook, Carol. If you guys have any connections, I just want a quick phone call with her and just tell her how much she helped me when I was growing up.
She that show, even when, because I was a kid watching that show, and that was just to see just the, even when it fell off the rails, when they would crack each other up so hard, that you see Tim Conway practically pissing his pants in the
Yes.
corner, and uh what was the one, there's one
Actually, it
very
would be Harvey Korman pissing his pants
Harvey,
because
yeah,
Tim Conway didn't hardly ever break. He could get Harvey Korman going,
he
like
was
the
the one.
dentist sketch
Yeah,
or
the
the
dentist.
laundromat sketch.
Yeah. What was the one where they finally, where Vicky she finally got Carol to break?
That was
The
Mama's Family. I could
Mama's
tell you all
Family.
these. And Tim Conway was the half-deaf cousin, and he was telling the story about the elephants
The
at the
elephant.
circus whose trunks were adjoined like Siamese twins. And when one sneezed, it sounded like Snorky.
Yeah.
That was Mama's Family, and Dick Van Dyke was in that scene, and Vicky swore. She
Yeah,
called him
she goes,
a
that
hole.
asshole, or something like that.
Yes,
And
yes.
and then they all just fell off of the couch.
But they used to record and have their show for the studio audience. I read Tim Conway's book, and then they would do a later show, and that's
Mm.
when they could do whatever they wanted to. So it sounds like, I don't know if there was an audience both times, but the one was the let's keep it for TV, and then the
Uh-huh.
next one was whatever you want.
Yeah. Oh, I love that show. In fact, my youngest daughter and I, was it a couple of years ago, they did like some salute to Carol Burnett. It
Mhm.
was maybe Kennedy Center honors or something
They
like
do it
that.
a lot, actually. You can find a lot of those.
Yeah, and we watched the whole thing, and oh my God, just brought that all back, and just how hilarious that show was, and you're right, she was a pioneer. Her and like Lucille Ball,
Yes.
with the,
For physical comedy, Lucille
oh
Ball.
my God.
Yep. The grape stomping, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. The cherries on the conveyor belt, I always think of that one.
Candies, yep.
Candies, yeah.
Yep.
Man.
You're right. I mean, it's all, and it was physical, and it was her face.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. So I mean, when you look back, there are a lot of brave women that were out there doing it.
Yeah, for sure. And and then you look at like Joan Rivers, who, I mean, she was guest hosting the Tonight Show all the time, and
Yes.
just how fun, and the way that she presented as this glamorous, even later in life with the plastic surgery and all that, but she could always make fun of herself.
Yes.
That roast they did of her at Comedy Central was brutal, and she took it like a champ, and it was so funny.
Can you imagine? I don't want to go back to high school. I could never do the roast thing.
Oh, I don't know, that Dan and I always talk about one of these days we should put on like a Cultured Swine roast of someone, and
Of Mario.
That's the guy I have in mind.
Of course.
But
I think we build up to it with Greg first, because everybody can roast him. And yeah,
all the jokes I have, I tend to go super dark when I start riffing, and
naturally.
I would have to rein some of that in, and that's the problem with roasting is I think you would have to get people that get it, that you're there to poke fun and be mean, but not too mean. Don't get too personal.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get too too dark, I suppose. You at the end of the day, you still want everybody laughing and not like, oh God, okay, I'm gonna leave now because this is too awful.
Yeah, there's some uncomfortable ones. You remember the one with who's the guy that was on Saturday Night Live? Norm Macdonald.
Oh,
When
yeah.
he came out and he did you guys see that where and I don't know who he was roasting, but it was just really dry and really, the jokes didn't go anywhere, but that was the joke.
Yeah.
Once people understood it was
the Shatner roast? It was because he was just doing all those old like 1930s.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Boy, that's a shaggy dog or something. He was just doing those.
It wasn't funny at all, and he just waited for the laughter that wasn't there. It was really, you could feel that. That's worth looking up if anybody hasn't seen that. Definitely look up Norm Macdonald killing at a roast like badly.
I thought it was brilliant, and all the comedians on stage were dying. They were like, because they're all looking at it like, are you really doing this right now? And he just kept going. Norm Macdonald, a lot of people sleep on him, and I think that it's a big mistake to look at some of his comedy, because oh my God, he's funny.
Yes, but it's a great dry humor. You either get it or you don't.
Another one you want to look up is Norm Macdonald on Conan with Courtney Thorne-Smith. She came on to promote a movie called it's a movie she did with Carrot Top. And I'm not going to give it, because the way he the interview instantly flies off, and it's just worth checking. It's maybe like a 5-minute clip. I'll let you check that out on your own, because I don't want to give away anything, because it is probably one of the funniest late night bits you'll ever see.
Cool. I wrote it down because I won't remember. I know this lie in life. I don't need to write it down.
Oh,
I'll remember. That's a lie.
Yeah. In fact, I still write stuff down and forget. I probably like sometimes I'll go through my phone and look at the notes that I take on my phone. Like, oh my God, I got a note in here for like 3 years ago that says bacon sandwich. What the hell was I thinking there? Why did I?
My grocery list from yesterday said I needed caulk. And then it took me through the whole store until I realized it was Coke. I just wanted one regular Coke.
You're going festival looking for some sealant?
I was unsuccessful, and I didn't want to be in there too long. I'm not that person.
That's right. I'm so self-conscious, kind of like when Mario started like banging on people for parking downtown. How that?
Oh my!
That's how I am in the grocery store now. Like I don't want people to be looking at me like, why is he? He's just wandering around. So I try to go in with a purpose. I got my mask on, got my gloves on, and I'm like super paranoid. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna run in, and then run out, and then I'm in the car. Shit, I forgot what I came for. But at least I was only in there like 3 minutes.
Yes.
Are you masking up and everything when you have to go out?
Well, I work in a police department. I'm trying to be as safe as I can. We have contact with people. I'm an assistant and I do records and local dispatch, and it's not fun. Am I masking up? No.
Okay.
I'm not masking up, even though I'm probably in the higher age bracket. I'm pushing almost 55. So I am very good about staying away from my parents, my own children, which is killing me.
It's gotta suck,
I'm a hugger. And so just had a couple phone calls this weekend with friends just to stay connected. In the store, I'm not masking up. Guess I could. They say it's to protect others if you are, but there's a lot of things. And I just listened to another podcast that was talking about it. You don't need to. So, then I was on a walking trail yesterday and I saw a couple masked while walking on the trail.
Yeah.
Then I saw a man driving by himself with a mask on, and I'm sorry, I laugh at that. Maybe I'm the one that's wrong. Maybe I should be driving around with a mask on. Maybe he just robbed a bank. I don't know.
I think at this point, it's one of those things where, if it makes you feel better, go right ahead. Because when I go out, I'll wear a mask into the stores and stuff. I just finished a job on Friday where I was driving medical supplies for Mayo. And that was spooky because you had to walk through the emergency departments and I was actually transporting COVID-19 samples and stuff like that.
Oh
So
my
it's,
gosh.
and they seal them and everything, but it just felt, it's almost like you're driving with a black cloud. So
Yeah.
I had gloves on, I had my mask on, not in the truck because I would sterilize the inside of the truck as best I could, but anytime I stepped out of the vehicle, because I don't know if what I have on me or, as I'm going into
We
different
don't know.
places.
Yeah.
So,
We don't know.
at this point, we can only do what we can do. And, if it makes people feel safer, I don't have any problem with walking around with a mask on.
Thank you for being out there and doing the work that's going to eventually help us figure out and maybe get past it.
Well, I hope so. And like I said, Friday was my last day. I couldn't do it anymore. It was starting to really stress me out. And now I'm, in addition to all of our other little businesses we have going on, I picked up some part-time cooking at the new Greek place downtown. So.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So they must be doing the pickup.
Yeah, pickup and delivery, little minor delivery. My son's been doing some delivery for us. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Noted.
There's another note. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, what were we talking? Oh, we were talking about Carol Burnett and
The comedies, the sketch
comedies and
writings.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So when you guys are performing, the season's not very long, is it?
Depends on if you are in it, because it is.
I mean yeah,
No, we start writing in May, although I already stated last fall I'm not doing one this September, and that'll be my first time not doing a September show for 2 decades. I don't even need to ask Brad for the date. So we start writing in May and start full-time rehearsing the end of July, like almost nightly by August, and then we do 3 weekends in September, which on a full run it would be 9 shows.
Okay.
It's a lot of shows do. I mean, I think even community theater does maybe 2 weekends, maybe they do 3, maybe they do, but they're doing a 6-week run with everything already written. I'm not saying it's any less. What they do is fabulous, and now I'll have more time to go see more of those.
Are you guys going to be able to do something this spring?
We had a spring show set up for May, and of course it got bumped. My husband, who is the director in Heart, wrote a podcast show, and it's about a city, and it's Blue Lake, and there was a crime that happened, and like one of my characters, I'm the only waitress in town, and I work at all the restaurants, but it's never really, you don't really ask about it. You just know that if you go to the Tasty Diner, Rachel's there as a server, and she really doesn't care. So that's that one. And it's really farcy, silly, and everybody has characters. We're going to have sound effects live on stage. So we'll probably end up going back to doing that. As far as that was going to be our spring show. We used to always do an improv show when we did a spring show.
That's one thing I've always wanted to do. And as we've been doing this podcast thing, it's been coming up more and more in my head, is do like an old timey radio drama.
Yeah.
My dad grew up in the 40s. He had me when he was really, really old, or oldish, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, he listened to a lot of radio shows. So he would buy me cassette tapes of like The Shadow and all those old Orson Welles when he did War of the Worlds and things like that. So in my toolbox somewhere back there is that yearning to do an old timey radio drama. Sam Spade and something like that with the cheesy organ music and the
I did one at
the shotguns.
Yes. Yes, and again, Brad would be able to, if you're tapping people, he has directed those before as well.
Didn't he just go on over at the Universal Unitarian Church? He did some kind of reading like last year.
I was in it.
Oh, were you? What was that?
It was. Didn't you just say War of the Worlds? No. What is that one where he's riding the bomb?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Dr. Strangelove.
Thank you. My husband and I were in that one as well. So I think Brad did direct it.
Yeah. I wanted to get over that. For some reason, I don't think I could make it that night. But stuff like that. And when I worked at Midwest Family, Ken Cooper and I always talked about it. And I always wanted to do a War of the Worlds type thing. everything, you can never find time because everything is so monetized. If you're not selling the oh, oh no.
Oh, do we lose her?
No, it says this meeting will end in 10 minutes. Upgrade now to remove the 40-minute time limit.
Have we reached our maximum use of the?
I think so. I wonder, can we just start a new one?
But where did Lisa go?
She's here.
I still see you guys.
Oh, there you are. You're a little. I don't know why I was thinking you would be on the other side. Is it making you pay?
Yeah, that's what it's saying.
Slide your credit card on the side.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it'll, because I was doing that with my cousins yesterday, and it just let me.
It only does it a few times.
Oh, does it? Okay. I wonder how much it costs.
I think it's $15 a month.
Oh, stupid. Well, why don't we just we can go for, we got 9 minutes. Is that cool? Unless
you because we didn't hit on what you wanted, and that was some creative ideas and talking about improv in life. Well, we could piece them together. This could be section 1. You want to start over?
We could try another one. Do you want to do that?
It's up to you, my friend. I'm here.
Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll try to host a new one, and then if that doesn't work,
it will.
It will.
Stopping and restarting. Yeah.
Okay. I'll send out another thing here in just a couple minutes. Stay tuned for part 2. Okay.